And we're back. Hey, before we get into the Sunday football or not preview recap, I got two things I want to get out of the way. First off, a little while back, Joe, I read you a stat about there's only three running backs in the top 30 of overall fantasy players. I have a little stat here, courtesy of Sam Smith. He found sent to me. So shout out Sam. Saquon Barkley's 86 fantasy points is the lowest for an overall RB1 through the first 4 weeks of the season since 1997, when Curtis Martin had 84.7.
Oh my God, Curtis Martin.
So just
We
a
all remember
huge,
him.
huge down year for running backs overall.
It's a wide
And
receiver league.
all right, and now that we have our special guest Andy Collins today, I thought I'd set some time aside to tell a nice story, and I'll get his comments on it. Andy Collins, our commissioner, if I remember correctly, it was my freshman year of college, your guy's sophomore year. Joe was actually absent from the room. We were all sitting in the sophomore house down at St. Mary's College, and everyone was sitting there. We decided, hey, let's start a fantasy league. And someone said, who should be the commissioner? And Eddie's, I think, had his laptop and said, I'll be the commissioner. So that's the qualifications Andy
That's
has
all
for
it
being our
takes.
commissioner.
No wonder this league is a sham.
So, Andy, do
All
you have
right.
any comments on how you got that? Is that story wrong? I think it's pretty much accurate.
So I think I talked about it with Isaiah Braxton, who was in our league like that.
Oh my
first
God, I
year,
forgot he was in our
Drew
league.
Atkins and Nick Manzoni, because I was living with them that year. And then I think when you guys brought it up, I was like, oh, we're already talking about a league. I can start it up because I was kind of like the connect, I guess, in that situation. So I put that together. And let's be honest, my qualifications to be commissioner were of the highest quality compared to the rest of the smucks in the league.
Well, I'm not saying I wanted to be it, but I was obviously the newcomer. I probably had known you guys for about 3 weeks at the time, maybe less. I will say Joey Briner was absent. That's the reason why he was not originally part of the league, and I
I
added him
was
on
not
to
in
the
the
East Side
first
Arc
year.
Boys.
Yes,
He
sir.
So
was.
That is where this name came from. We were the Eastside Arc Boys the first every year I joined Testoni's team because I was not. I just wasn't there at the time when they were like, let's make a fantasy league. So I got counted out.
I would also like to add for the record that the first year of the league, I did get the first draft pick, but Nicky
Shocker.
Manzoni and Isaiah were there watching me hit randomized draft order. And it just so happened that I got the first pick and I won the league the first year.
Andy, if you
And the
don't
fourth
mind,
year.
if you don't mind telling the listeners, what draft pick did you have this year?
I did have the first draft pick this year as well.
Oh, okay.
But to
I
be
think
fair,
you've had the first overall pick 3 times in 5 years.
I mean, I've had it twice in 5 years. And I've won the league twice in 5 years. But one of those I had what was last year, 6th pick or something?
Well, also, let's just say that Nicky Manzoni and Isaiah Braxton are no longer in the league. So who knows what you did with them to keep them quiet.
I think I just went up to Isaiah and I was like, hey, are you cool not being in the league next year?
No, Nikki was a bit tougher. All right, so that's a nice little story background of the league with our commissioner here. Let's get into Sunday recap. Look, we're on a little bit of a time crunch, all right? We're growing adults. We're not in college anymore. We got to sometimes, we got to take care of stuff. So a little quicker this week. We'll go into the games that we want to get into a little more than others. Let's start in Baltimore. Buffalo just rips my heart out. 23-20. The Ravens are probably the most frustrating team to watch in football right now. We can talk about it. They have a big names here. Lamar obviously had a bit of a down day, 2 picks. One of them was a tip. Josh Allen, not his best day. It was a rain game, so it was a little tough. Really, the biggest thing I think to talk about here, J.K. Dobbins looked good. 2 touchdowns for him. I think over 70% of snap. Good look for J.K. Dobbins coming back from injury.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add besides, I just love twisting it in. And when the knife's already in, I just love giving a little twist, I guess, because I feel like all the comments I say are always negative when it comes to you or the Ravens. And I'm sorry for this, but the Ravens are up 20-3. I was shocked when I saw this, but I was like, damn, the Ravens are going to roll the Bills after, because they were taking advantage of early opportunities. And then it just all shut down from there. Buffalo, who didn't even look that great, really, just came back in the rain game, like you were saying. Fantasy-wise, Devin Singletary got it done. J.K. Dobbins got it done. But besides that, you weren't, ecstatic with any of the other guys in the game. Andy's all good here.
All right. I didn't see this game because I was working. It was the London game. I was in studio with Ravens pregame. So I'll let you guys take this if you got anything. The only thing I'd say is look like Justin Jefferson's back as the Vikings win in London 28-25.
Did you watch that game, Andy? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was kind of switching between that and the F1 race because I'm into Formula One now. But Well,
Just
mostly
for
I was
here on the
just
pod.
annoyed at Greg Joseph getting all these field goals. And yeah, that was really my only takeaway. Obviously, Justin Jefferson had a very good game. I think it could have gone either way, honestly. I think the game could have gone either way, and it just fell for the Vikings at the end.
Well, literally fell because there was a double doink at the end of the game, which was crazy to see. It really got the Sunday going to see a double doink that would have been a game-tying field goal. We mentioned Adam Thielen already. Adam Thielen was hooked on the Thielen, Jake Willis bench, so naturally knew he was going to have a good day. And Greg Joseph, I think Andy texted me, Greg Joseph outscored his starting quarterback and wide receiver. So you love to see that. Greg Joseph get involved. He even missed the extra point, too. Should have had 18 points.
Which would have doubled.
Next matchup, nothing to talk about here. Falcons win 23-20. Brutal game. Mariota sucked, but they won, which is the most infuriating part.
Only thing I will say
here. Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. Only thing I will say is I've already mentioned it before. Nick Chubb has been getting it done. For a down RB year, Nick Chubb has been getting it done, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, let's go to the next one. This one feels really sweet because I called it, and since Joe likes to stick knives and twist them in me, the Commanders get blown out in Jerry's world. How about them Cowboys? 25-10. They looked great. Cooper Rush, I don't know, is he the starter? Besides that, CeeDee Lamb had a nice day, and Jahan Dotson found the end zone. This rookie, all he does is score touchdowns. But besides that,
Michael Gallup.
Oh, Michael Gallup found the end zone as well. Newly member of BLT, Diego's team. So 25-10, Cowboys win.
Yeah, nobody had a good day in Washington. Fantasy-wise, NFL-wise, nobody had a good day. I don't even want to talk about it. You can go ahead. Let's go Cowboys. I mean, you can say that all you want because it's true. I mean, we just got our butts kicked. There's nothing I can really add to it.
Nobody had a good day. I'm sure the Nationals lost too. Bums. All right, let's go to Detroit. It was brought up. You might as well take the over in any game Detroit plays in. 48-45. Seahawks win in Detroit. I mean, this game just wouldn't end. It went on forever. Goff, we talked about, and Geno Smith with the two highest scoring fantasy. Jamal Williams had a good day with no DeAndre Swift. TJ Hawkinson, huge day. The Seahawks passing game is getting it done, and Rashad Penny finally showed up. Everybody
in this game had a good day that was started. I mean, even Tyler Lockett, I think, comes in at the bottom, but he had 13.1 fantasy points. Both wide receivers. So if you play Josh Reynolds, because he was kind of the last man standing, Josh Reynolds had a good day. TJ Hawkinson went off. Jamal Williams, Jared Goff, and then on the flip side, Geno Smith, great. DK Metcalf and Lockett both had good days, and Rashad Penny popped off as well. I mean, the only quarter in this game that there wasn't 20 points scored was the second quarter, and there was 19 points scored combined. So it was just a great day.
Yeah, I was watching it. I was watching on Red Zone, and I swear they never were actually on the game. They just were showing the
Red alert, red alert.
Red alert.
Let's go to Houston. Chargers 34, Texans 24. Houston has the worst record in all of NFL. They're 0-3-1. Justin Herbert looked better. Another week healing with the ribs. Dameon Pierce, huge day, 14 for 131 with a touchdown. Austin Eckler had his best day of the year. Found the end zone 3 times when he didn't all year. And, of course, he did it against me. I have nothing else to say, so I'll let you guys take this one.
I was just going to chime in and say Brandon Cooks finally got a little bit of a better connection with the general Davis Mills. He's always been getting the targets, but they finally connected, and they even found in the end zone together this week. So Brandon Cooks put up a good day. Dameon Pierce already mentioned. Even Rex Burkhead found the end zone. So, yeah, I mean, Houston is Houston. Brandon Cooks seems to be, and Dameon Pierce seem to be the only two guys you're looking to start. And Mike Williams was back. He will probably be a Tyler of the Week next week, but for now, he's a Soup of the Week.
Yeah, I was a little frustrated that Keenan Allen wasn't starting. I've now missed him for 3 straight weeks. And then Gerald Everett, of course, found the end zone the week that I'm playing him.
That is Mount Gerald Everett to you.
Gerald Everett been a big beneficiary of no Keenan Allen. Not necessarily another wide receiver, but Gerald Everett has been getting a lot of work. Let's go to Indianapolis. This team stinks. And I'm telling you, if they lost against Kansas City, I would have nailed that boar bet. And it was null and void because they won.
Gone.
But Frank Reich is not surviving this season. And you know what? Carson Wentz, I said it was not the problem. Because guess what? Matt Ryan looks just as bad. He looks like an old man. Would you rather have –
I mean, if not worse.
Real quick for both of you. Would you rather have Matt Ryan or Joe Flacco right now? Same draft.
Oh, my God.
They were the same draft. One won an MVP in the regular season, but that guy also blew a Super Bowl. The other guy won a Super Bowl MVP, and he was elite. So go ahead. Tell me right now, who would you rather
so
have?
just to clarify, you're wondering who would we rather have start our team at their point in their career right now?
Who would you rather, if you had this Colts roster, who would you rather have, Matt Ryan or Joe Flacco right now?
I mean, I basically have this Colts roster as my fantasy team, but
Look what Joe did for those guys in New York.
At this point, I have to go with Joe Flacco because Matt Ryan's just been pissing me off the past few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco, I would like to see what happens if Matt Ryan was throwing the ball 50-plus times a game like Joe Flacco was, but
I don't know.
Joe Flacco was I don't know if he can either. Joe Flacco was fighting hard every game, so I'm going to go Flacco here. I mean, especially for fantasy, he was producing better fantasy options.
There was a play where it was a bad snap to Matt Ryan, and it like kicked up, and he could have caught it and still made the play work. And he looked like an old man fumbling with the football and just collapsed on it. Anyways,
Michael Pittman had 5 receivers ahead of him, and I can understand Mo Alley Cox getting the end zone, as disappointing as that was. But some of those receptions have to go Pittman's way.
You would have thought.
He's their number one by far, and just wasn't working. And Jonathan Taylor, like we said, did get banged up. We should have mentioned this at the beginning. We don't know yet. He said he will play if he's good to go. It was a very confusing quote.
It is very confusing.
With the Thursday night game, I don't know. But Tennessee does win 24-17 in Indianapolis. Next game, Chicago and the Giants. Not a lot to talk about here. Chicago loses. The Giants win 2012. Shout out Jake Wills. He said the Giants that Daniel Jones was going to run, and that would be the difference in the game. And that was pretty much the Giants' offense.
That was a great call by Wills.
So Giants do win 2012. If any you guys have anything to add to it?
No, thank you.
Other than Saquon coming in as a Wildcat.
Oh. Let's go to Philly. This game, I think, could have been better for fantasy. It was another rain game. Philly wins 29-21 over Jacksonville. Doug Peterson revenge game does not pan out. Down game for a lot of guys, especially Jacksonville. I actually watched AJ Brown get a catch and walk into the end zone, and that would have also given me a win. But nope, they call a phantom blocking downfield call on Dallas Goedert. So take it back. Miles Sanders looked great in this game. I think he was the big point. If you guys got anything else, that's pretty much it for here.
I mean, the 4 lost fumbles by Trevor Lawrence and an interception.
It was wet out.
Yeah, 5 turnovers is crazy. Wet. I mean, the only guy you're happy with this week was Miles Sanders. I mean, if you started Jamal Agnew in like a DFS league or something, hats off to you.
Pittsburgh. How about them Jets? Soup's smiling somewhere when I just said that. Jets come back and win 24-20. Zach Wilson, a little shaky, but looked good at the end. It looks like he'll be able to give the value to those Jets wide receivers you were playing. Breece Hall is really coming out and looking good. Najee Harris has been rocky. And Mitch Trubisky gets benched. Kenny Pickett throws for 120 yards. He rushed for 2 touchdowns, but let's rush. He just kind of fell in. Those are both goal line QB sneaks. And throws 3 picks. So I don't know what to think of that Pittsburgh. I'm a little nervous about Deontay Johnson right now.
So I have a question for both of you, if anyone has anything to chime in. Are we following the Corey Davis stat line? He did lead in targets, receptions, yards. He led everything in the wide receiver position. And I know Corey Davis was a plug-and-play kind of guy last year when Zach Wilson was starting. So, I mean, I don't know if there's just a deeper connection there more than the other guys, or what do you think, Tessoni?
I would look at – I don't know if I'd use a waiver on him, but if he's out there, free agents, I'd probably pick him up because he was a ghost early on, but he does have a track record with Zach Wilson. So I think he could be usable.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think it's definitely too early to plug him in, but not too early to pick him up. Like Tessoni said,
worth a roster spot at least, right?
Yeah. Next game. Remember when we all said everyone thought this was a trap game because Carolina was favored? Well, let's not think too hard. Carolina sucks. Baker Mayfield should be sent out of town. I don't know Matt Rule, another guy not surviving the season. Cardinals go in, and the Cardinals look terrible, by the way. The Cardinals offense looks terrible. But that's okay, because when you're playing the Panthers, anything goes. They win 26-16 in Carolina. Kyler ran more, which is what they need to do. James Conner, I mean, he's just not getting the passing.
Nope, that's what I was going to say.
And, I mean, Christian McCaffrey looked good again. Finally, 9 targets, caught all 9 of them. How about do that more? That's pretty much all I got from here.
We can kind of keep it rolling. It's kind of a crappy game.
How about this? If I told you that Bailey Zappi was going to take Aaron Rodgers to overtime, would you believe me?
No shot.
24 points for the Patriots, but not enough. Green Bay wins in overtime with a Mason Crosby field goal, 27-24 in Lambeau. Joe, I'll let you take Green Bay because I know you're big on one of those guys busting out. Could have had a second touchdown pass, but fell out and he also
I
fumbled.
know. Romeo
But
Dobbs.
I don't have too
I mean,
much to say about this game. So, if Andy, if you have anything to say, go ahead.
yeah, I'll just talk about Romeo Dobbs. I mean, he's getting involved in this offense, and he's getting those valuable looks that you want to see when they get near the red zone, or near the end zone. And he should have had 2 touchdowns. He should have had an over 20-point day. He should have been a soup of the week. He brought it in. He made the catch, and then the ground caused the fumble, and he dropped it in the end zone. So it's ruled no catch. That would have been the game as well. That would have been a big dagger on Soup as well. So I know it ended up still same outcome in that matchup, but I mean, Alan Lazard looked good as well. So those could be the new like kind of 1-2 sort of deal. They like to get Christian Watson involved on these end arounds and quick screen sort of deals, but Alan Lazard seems to get more downfield targets as well. So I don't know if you have anything.
I mean, I thought it was a great game to watch, first off. And then I think we just saw that running back situation as well in Green Bay with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon having 73 yards, Aaron Jones having 110, but neither really involved too much in the passing game. Which in a PPR league can obviously be not ideal to see if you're a fantasy owner of them.
And you are. I bet you wish Aaron Jones would have found the end zone at least one time with those 110 yards.
Hey, look, I'm all for my team just saving all their points for weeks where we do well.
Well,
I'm losing by 50.
I'm all for my team winning a game. Let's go to Vegas. Vegas gets it done. They get their first one of the year, and at the expense of the Broncos. But that's okay, Joe, because Russell Wilson had a good fantasy day.
He's back, baby.
Maybe. There's a big defensive touchdown on the fumble from Melvin Gordon that really changed the swing of the game. Josh Jacobs looked great. In the passing game, Devontae Adams. Joe, I'll let you and Andy take the rest of this game with Denver.
Yeah, I mean, Cortland Sutton getting involved with the most targets here. He had 7 targets, while the next closest was, of course, his co-wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy, who did have 1 more yard than Cortland Sutton, but Cortland Sutton had 5 catches for 52. Jerry Jeudy had 4 for 53. They both found the end zone, so you love to see that. I mean, getting those 2 more involved in the passing game is what Russ needs to do, especially with this running game that just took a giant hit. Even KJ Hamler getting hit on a deep ball. That looked – when I saw that throw, that's when I was like, that's Russell Wilson. I don't know if you saw the throw test, Tony, but he hit KJ Hamler in the bread basket. Should have been like a 60-yard touchdown, but ended up falling after he caught it. And he hit him in stride. He threw the big arcing ball that you love to see Russell Wilson throw. And so that's what most excited me about that game, to be honest. Just that one throw, seeing Russell Wilson look like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think Russell Wilson finally looked comfortable there. And I just think the thing to highlight is that the Raiders won that game with the rushing. I mean, Josh Jacobs, 144 yards. Derek Carr had 40 yards rushing with a 20-yard rush, which was impressive to watch. And yeah, that was the difference. Because I think Russell actually had more pass yards than Derek Carr.
Let's go to Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay drops it. This was a pick'em. And Kansas City, the final score looks closer than what it was. Kansas City wins 41-31. I thought Tampa's offense looked okay, but my God, their defense was getting torched by Kansas City. They were doing whatever they wanted. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has proven everybody wrong. He was effective once again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just going to chime in about, surprisingly, the Bucs defense not looking great, but I guess it is Kansas City's offense. And a lot of the announcers were talking about like Super Bowl revenge from when the Bucs beat the Chiefs, that sort of deal. And I mean, the Chiefs just kind of controlled this whole game, but having the Bucs weapons back in the passing game clearly showed to be like detrimental for Tom Brady to really get back into it. Tom finally put up the big fantasy day. He had Mike Evans. He had Chris Godwin. He was able to pepper these targets there. He found Mike Evans in the end zone. And, I mean, although the Chiefs kind of controlled this game, it was a good sight to see for Tom Brady in the passing game.
Yeah, I know Derek's very happy about the Tom Brady situation, and any Tampa Bay running back owners might be a little bit worried.
Last game, Monday Night Football, since we're recording a day later. I'm going to let you guys take this entire one because I was at the Orioles game 5 rows back. It was miserable.
You didn't miss that much.
So I'll let you guys take this. San Francisco won 24-9 over the Rams.
Yeah, for whatever reason, dude, the Rams cannot beat the 49ers. I mean, I know people are a little questioning, wondering why the 49ers were favored by 1.5 going into this game. And then you look at their matchup against each other with Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that's why. And this proved it there. I mean, Jeff Wilson started off with like a 30-yard touchdown run that he just hit a hole like a bullet and just crushed it. Ended up like a 30-some-yard touchdown run. I believe that opened up the game for touchdown-wise. Darrell Henderson actually led the way for the Rams, even though it was only 7 for 27 on the ground. Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel, they did their thing, although no touchdowns were scored for the Rams. Deebo, Jeff Wilson were really the only two guys you were happy to start on the 49ers side. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else, Andy.
No, other than just in my other fantasy league, I was up by a good amount, and then Deebo and Cooper Kupp both just had good fantasy weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure both of those guys crushed some dreams, and they also made some Monday Night Miracles happen.
All right, and that was Sunday plus the Monday recap. Let's get in last thing, our Thursday night preview. Super interesting game with the injuries. The 1-2-1 Indianapolis Colts visit the 2-2 Denver Broncos. Currently, the Colts are going into Denver +3, so the Broncos are favored, but injury report. Obviously, we have no Javonte Williams. Melvin Gordon has been banged up, so we'll see if it's Mike Boone or Latavius Murray. Also, Randy Gregory, their big offseason purchase edge rusher from Dallas, he's on IR, so he won't play. Russell Wilson was banged up, but he practiced today, so he'll be fine. And then we don't know about Shaq Leonard, who's in concussion protocol, and Jonathan Taylor's questionable. So a lot of question marks here. A lot of the money going on Denver right now. I think I'll take this stuff. I think I'll take Denver -3. I think the defense will just be too much for Matty Ice.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I don't think I'm really looking to start Mike Boone, right? If even with Melvin, I'm not really excited to start Melvin Gordon either. I don't think, because I don't see him getting all the work, even though Javonte's gone. So I mean, that would be a situation that you'd be like, oh my God, Melvin Gordon's going to get all the work now. But with his fumbling, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to be on the Broncos here. I'll keep it short. I'm going to be on the Broncos especially I don't see Jonathan Taylor playing and Nyheim Hines. I mean, the running game in Indianapolis hasn't looked great, even with Jonathan Taylor. So I'm going to be on the Broncos.
Yeah, I think it's hard to pick against the Broncos here, just with the Colts situation so far this year. Jonathan Taylor being out, Shaq Leonard now being out. Yeah, I gotta take the Broncos, but I do think it might be interesting because the Colts did take it to the Chiefs. So see if they can make that happen in Denver as well.
That was Thursday night preview. Hey, great having our special guest and commissioner Andy Collins on.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you,
Joe. You want to plug real quick?
Yeah, we do indeed have a Twitter account for this podcast. It is at EastSideFF on Twitter. If you don't mind giving us a follow. You can also find our podcasts on YouTube and Apple Podcasts at Eastside Fantasy Football. We appreciate everybody listening. Thank you to everyone who's been sharing it, telling their friends. Thanks to everybody listening. We really appreciate everything. And hopefully you got a win. Good luck this upcoming week. All right.
Follow, subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you, Commissioner Andy Collins and two-time champion. For Joe Briner and myself, Nick D'Antoni. This was the Eastside Fantasy Football Podcast. We'll be back on Saturday.
Yes, sir. See you Saturday.